said you disabled the alarm!
I thought I did!
Oh!
Heads up!
Oh my god! Oh!
What up, internet? You thought I was done? You thought I was out? You're wrong. I'm back in the kitchen and better than ever. Heart disease hasn't gone Kyle yet, so we're here to make him another birthday cake. If you haven't checked out last year's video, go ahead and check it out here. Some people said it was amazing, other people said it was just okay. That guy sucks.
Oh.
This year, we're taking the all-American classic, the apple pie, and fusing it together with Donald's favorite, the churro. That's right, this is the Churro Apple Pie. So get ready, strap in, and get ready. For our ingredient list, we're going to need a number of different items. To begin, vegetable oil, at least 1 gallon to 2 gallons, because who cares about life? Next, you're going to need your non-cooked cooking oil spray. After that, be sure to get plenty of sugar. This is an apple pie after all, and just throw in the brown sugar. Butter, we're going to need at least 2 teaspoons. It's an apple pie, so of course we need apples. And who could forget everyone's favorite? Cinnamon. If you don't have any, scrape some off a Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Next, for some flavor, vanilla. Don't forget salt, it dries out your enemy's lines. We have some flour, just to lighten things up, and the all-important white eggs. It's important to have the right tools for the job. So, to begin, you're going to need a crock pot. We'll be slow cooking these apples to begin with. You'll also need an apple slicer, because who wants to slice their own apples? You're going to need a spoon to mix everything in. You're going to need some bowls to mix those in. You're going to need a KitchenAid brand mixer, hashtag not sponsored. You're going to need some measuring spoons, teaspoons to be exact, and some measuring cups. You're going to take a medium saucepan, bring that to a high heat. Dump in 2 cups of water, a full teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and half a cup of butter. Go ahead and take your spoon and make sure that all of your butter is melted. Clockwise for a little bit, then counterclockwise. None of this. None of that. Looks like our ingredients have come to a boil. We're going to go ahead and reduce our heat and add in our flour. Remember, 2 cups of flour. Now that our dough has gone ahead and clumped, we're going to need to put...
When do you...
Now that our dough has gone ahead... Now that our dough has gone ahead and clumped, we're going to need to put that into our KitchenAid brand mixer. And I have my lovely assistant here to bring that out for us. Remember to use promo code KyleSucks for 24% off. What? Go ahead and take your dough and put that into your KitchenAid mixer. We're going to go ahead and add in our eggs and vanilla. Now that our churro dough is in our KitchenAid mixer, we want to make sure that it's had plenty of time to cool off so that the eggs don't cook. We'll be adding in 2 tablespoons of vanilla, and then we'll be adding in 8 eggs. 1, 2. We're going to go ahead and turn on our mixer, and then we'll be adding eggs in one at a time. Now that our churro dough is done mixing, we're going to go ahead and put that into this piping bag. I fitted this piping bag with a churro style tip to keep the authenticity of this dish. Speaking of authenticity, I'm bringing out my ethnic friend to help me.
How much of this do you want in it?
All of it.
I'm trying, okay.
Oh, get the thing in the freaking...
Hold on.
Get the...
Sorry. Do you want me to keep going? How long am I here?
How full is the bag?
How long?
How full is the freaking bag?
Looks like a full salami.
Now that the piping bag is full of our churro mix, we're going to go ahead and take a pie crust and form the bowl of our churro. So we have our churro dough in a piping bag. Next, we need to take a pie pan, take your non-cooked cooking oil spray, and apply a generous coat to make sure that nothing sticks to it. Now for the fun part. We're taking our piping bag and we're going to go ahead and go around this whole bowl and we're going to create a churro masterpiece. Now Now that our crust is done, we're going to go ahead and move that to the freezer so it can harden up. Next, we're going to go ahead and do the top of the pie. So we're going to give this a light coat of non-cooked cooking oil spray. And we want to go ahead and get that nice all-American crisscross pattern. And with plenty of practice, your churro crust could look as nice as this. Again, we're going to go ahead and throw this into the freezer to cool up, and then we're moving to the fun part, the apples.
Oh my god!
Now that our churro dough is freezing in the freezer, we're going to go ahead and take our apples and prep them. Unlike a traditional apple pie, we're not going to be baking them in the traditional oven. We're going to go ahead and get these apples prepared and then put them into our slow cooker. So what we do for this is we remove every single individual sticker from the apples because no one wants to eat that. And then we're going to put them through our fancy apple slicer. Because who wants to cut apples? Only 7 more to go. Moving on, we have our apple pieces, but we need to make them into smaller slices. So we're going to go ahead and just take a knife and we're going to chop these into thinner, smaller pieces. You're going to want to make sure to move quickly before they brown. Now that we're done slicing our apples, we can go ahead and take a glass bowl, and we're going to go ahead and just put all of our apples in there. Now to prepare this mixture, we need to add 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 cup of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. And there's one more thing that we forgot. It happens to be Kyle's favorite, butter. Once you got all that in, you're going to go ahead and mix that in all nice and pretty like. You want to get everything nice and coated. This is going to be in our slow cooker for about 4 hours, which is really going to get those apples soft and chewy to that nice texture. The sugar is going to provide just the right amount of sweetness to the apple's tart. And the butter is going to provide that wholesome taste mixed in with the salt. These look pretty good, so we're going to go ahead and get them into our slow cooker. We're into the final steps of making our apple pie. We're going to go ahead and move these into the crock pot. Make sure to get all that goodness in there. And last but not least, we got to pour one out for the homie Kyle. This one's to Kai. He's not doing too good. He's kind of in a low place of life. I worked hard on that crust. Go ahead and make sure that all of your ingredients are mixed together in your slow cooker. Turn it on high and let it cook for 4 to 5 hours, or until soft. Before we move into the final stages of making our pie, I want to take a minute and talk about safety when cooking with oil. Oil is an awesome ingredient to use, but can also...
right here?
Yes, please. It can also be very dangerous. So you want to make sure that you use the proper precautions when cooking with oil. Make sure that in the event of a grease fire, you cover the fire instead of pouring it with water. Water is going to spread the flames really big, and that could be dangerous. Make sure to suffocate it. Oil can also burn your skin. So if necessary, take the right procedures to... We're into the last stages of making our churro apple pie. We've gone ahead and we've taken our gallon of oil and we begin to boil it in here. You want to make sure that it's at the right temperature in order to cook your churro crust. You're going to go ahead and loosen that from the pie tin, and you're going to lower that gently into the oil to hold the shape of it. And for the final piece, the base of our churro pie. This one you want to be extremely careful with, so make sure to take the proper precautions when cooking. The bottom of our pie is finished cooking, and we're going to go ahead and put a generous dose of cinnamon sugar on it. We're going to get that nice and coated before moving to the pie tin. We have our pie crust right here. Next, we're gonna add the apple fillings. We pulled these straight from the crock pot, so they are nice, hot, and ready. You wanna get all these juices in there. Go ahead and evenly distribute all of your apples and get that sitting nice and settled. Let's get a shot of that. Final step, you're gonna go ahead and take the top of your pie crust, sprinkle that with your cinnamon sugar mix, and then assemble like Legos. And there you have it, the churro apple pie. A lot like life, sometimes some things happen that we don't expect, or some mishaps along the road. Kyle, maybe the past 24 years haven't been what you thought they would be, and that's okay. A lot like this pie, there's eventually some good somewhere along the line. And meanwhile, be sure to check out our other videos. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and next year check us out when we buy Kyle a cake instead of making him stuff. We're gonna need next. We're gonna go ahead and take our apples. So we're gonna go ahead and just take a knife and go ahead and take a glass. Once you got all that in, you're gonna go ahead. These look pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we've gone ahead and you're gonna go ahead and loosen that. We're gonna go ahead and put a generous dose. Go ahead and evenly distribute. You're gonna go ahead and take.
Good. Are we bringing back the original? The OG?
No, I do have
We're filming this in 480 for a few minutes.
Yeah. Things first is I have to do the introduction. Then we're gonna get what the ingredients are. That's what we're gonna do. Sully, I need you to feed me lines because I don't remember what you wrote.
Oh, I got the ones, yeah.